still upset there's no
Ha!
snow?
Oh, I forgot you were in my house.
Don't worry about it, buddy. There's still some time before Christmas.
I know. I just really want it to be a good Christmas this year. After everything that happened this year, I feel like we at least deserve that.
Oh, come on, man. Cheer up. Hey, would it help if I gave you a Christmas gift early?
You got me a gift?
Of course. Merry Christmas, Roland.
Aw, thanks, Shane. You're a real pal. I'm sorry I've been so down lately. I honestly feel bad at you. Oh, son of a... Shane, why?
Hey, it's Roland again, and today we're playing Nancy Drew on the Game Boy Advance, but before we can really appreciate what that means for humanity, we gotta figure out how it all came to this. Let's get this over with. Nancy Drew is basically a cultural legend at this point. She debuted way back in 1930 in a series of mystery novels that were a spin-off of the Hardy Boys and quickly gained massive popularity. A fun fact, each of those books were written by a collection of different authors. That's why there were so damn many. They would outsource the books to several ghostwriters to keep new ones coming out, and then just publish them under the pseudonym of Carol Keene. Save that for your trivia night. Nancy went on to be a hit with young readers of the day, even arguably more so than the Hardy Boys themselves, and with that success came franchising, as it tends to. Television shows, comic books, merchandise out the wazoo, and a few films here and there. The standard affair you would expect, honestly. I remember the first time I had even heard of Nancy Drew was watching the trailer for the 2007 movie starring Emma Roberts. Maybe I should give that a watch. Suffice to say, Nancy Drew was and still is a very successful franchise. Sure, she isn't as big now as she was in the last century, but the name Nancy Drew still means something, and that truly is a testament to the staying power of both the character and the formula of these stories. For my money though, the best thing to come from the Nancy Drew conglomerate is the video game series. These were point-and-click computer adventure games where you would play as our titular young sleuth, gathering evidence, solving puzzles, and basically just playing through a good old-fashioned patented Nancy Drew mystery, I reckon. These games were developed by Her Interactive, and the Nancy Drew line of games is pretty much all they're known for. They developed a grand total of 5 games that have nothing to do with Nancy. Compare that to the now 33 Nancy Drew games they have made since 1998, and you can see where they've been putting all their time. Sweet mercy, there's just no end to these things. For adventurous girls 10 and up. Well, that's me. The games were pretty successful in their own right. They've had a respectable impact on the point-and-click adventure scene, and lots of people still really enjoy playing these old things. But, of course, they couldn't leave well enough alone. They couldn't stop there, they just had to branch out even further. While the series is predominantly relegated to the PC, Her Interactive has tried to port certain titles over to other hardware in an effort to expand the brand, I guess. They tried mobile devices, the Wii, even DVD for some reason, but they were usually resounding failures. They would plan several ports for each platform, but only one would come out before they decided it really wasn't worth it to make another, and the Game Boy Advance port was doomed to be no exception. Her Interactive's first attempt in mobilizing Nancy Drew, they planned 2 releases, being ports of the first PC game, Secrets Can Kill, and the third, Message in a Haunted Mansion. For some reason, Message in a Haunted Mansion was the only one that saw the light of day, which never made sense to me, but hey, all reasoning was out the window at this point. Message in a Haunted Mansion is, of course, based on the PC game, which released a year earlier, which in turn is based on the Nancy Drew novel of the same name, which released back in 1994. A house of shifting shapes and shadows harbors a strange secret. I want that on my tombstone. So what we have here is a Nancy Drew experience that has been filtered through the book, then filtered through the computer game, then crumpled up and compressed through the GBA's engine to give us this little crime against humanity. I think we're in for a treat. Now, I love the Nancy Drew games. They're legitimately fun time wasters, and I always take delight in their clunky but charming nature. And I love the Game Boy Advance. It was my very first game system ever. It was my introduction to the world of video gaming. I have very fond memories of playing this very system for hours on long car rides. It is a very special place in my heart, so this should be a match made in heaven, right? Well, it ain't! Now, I've described this game as a port. I'm sure you're imagining a game inspired by the PC game that works better for the hardware it's on. Maybe a different art style, a different play style that effectively accommodates the GBA's limitations. You'd think that would be a smart move. But like our dear friend Icarus, Her Interactive decided to fly a little too close to the sun. They set out to make a complete one-to-one port of the computer game and have it work on the Game Boy Advance. Now I can hear you asking, Roland, isn't that literally impossible? I don't think we're gonna get anywhere with those kinds of questions, so let's just start playing, shall we? So we open and see that this game was actually developed by a company called Handheld Games, which are the monsters behind such titles as Cheetah Girls and Cory in the House on the Nintendo DS and Cat in the Hat on GBA. I think we're in good hands. We have a still title card to ease us into the atmosphere, and honestly, it is kind of spooky. I mean, who knows? Maybe I was too quick to judge. Maybe this game is good after So what they've done here is they've tried to recreate the standard early Nancy Drew game main menu, but instead of using the standard Nancy Drew music, we're stuck with this trudgy mess. I fear this is a sign of bad things to come. Oh, come on, even the sound effects are horrible. Let's take a look at what's coming next for Nancy Drew. Watch out for more great releases from Handheld Games and Her Interactive. Huh, yeah, we're still waiting on those guys. No rush. One thing that you'll notice right off the bat is that we have the option for a password, meaning this game doesn't save. And that's concerning that a slow, methodical detective game operates on a password system. I suppose we'll see how they handle it. Anyway, I've stalled enough. Let's get this party started. Dear Bess, I'm in San Francisco helping Hannah's friend, Rose Green. She just bought an old mansion that she plans on making into a bed and breakfast, but a lot of strange accidents have slowed things down. Is it bad luck or something else? I'd better find out. Oh my God. They did it. Those bastards did it. They ported the whole fucking point-and-click computer game to the Game Boy. You know what? I gotta applaud them. Take a bow, Her Interactive. You did it. My only question is why? You maniacs! You were so concerned with whether or not you could, you didn't stop to think of whether or not you should, or however the quote goes. This is a pitiful display. I won't even talk about how compressed it looks. I think that speaks for itself. So the game is still a point-and-click adventure. On the Game Boy, you have this big old cursor that you move around with the D-pad. Come on! It's just as cumbersome as it looks. And oh my God, the music got even worse. I don't like it. Okay, let's take a deep breath. We got a lot of game to get through, so we better get going. I should clarify my previous statement. When I said they ported the whole PC game over, while that is technically true, they did cut a whole bunch of stuff from what I can see. A lot of the puzzles have fewer steps, there's less things to interact with, but the renderings of the mansion and the characters are ripped straight from the computer games. So it's a simplified port, but a port nonetheless. We start in Nancy's room, and I guess we just gotta look around and search for clues related to the accidents. Let's look at this tapestry. Maybe it's got some words of wisdom. Oh God, let's see. Listen, my child, to the story of dreams, and know that the beginning is more difficult than it seems when the 10 daughters are reunited. This music is driving me insane! I wish it would stop! Did I say the magic word? Yeah, so I guess in an act of empathy towards the player, they made the music just cut out after a short period of time. That or they forgot to program a loop, but I like to think they knew what they were doing. And it's so nice to have that music gone, but I'll be honest, having pure silence makes this whole thing a lot creepier. It honestly feels like some creepypasta game where I'm just gonna turn a corner and something's gonna jump out at me. I don't think that's specifically what they were going for, but I guess they were going for creepy, so good job. So there's not much to do in the bedroom yet, so let's go talk to someone. Even though it's gonna take forever to get there, I just gotta... No, not the vent. Get out of there. I just gotta go, here? Oh, where is everybody? I get that the whole empty mansion aesthetic is an Nancy Drew staple, but I have no idea where I'm supposed to go. I can't interact with most of these doors. Why are they here? Oh, I can interact with this one. Now we're, hey, oh, whoa, oh, you look great. So here we have our first suspect, Abby. She believes that ghosts are responsible for all the accidents. Again, I have no idea what these accidents are. Did some people die, or did someone just pee on the couch? I feel like that's gonna determine how seriously I take this whole thing.
Hello, Nancy. I see you've arrived safely, but there's danger around you, and I bet you don't believe in ghosts.
Oh, in terms of icebreakers, solid 10. In terms of composure, 4.5. Probably the biggest downsizing that came from squeezing this game onto the Game Boy was in the dialogue. In the original, you had fully animated, fully voice-acted dialogue trees with in-depth information and lots of options. Here you get the bare basics. Hi, my name is Charlie.
I'm Nancy. What the house?
It's not a huge problem. If anything, it makes the game feel more streamlined, which is good. It just kind of sucks the life out of the whole thing. Not that the resolution didn't already do that, but I'm trying to give it a pass. It was 2001. That's just how the world looked like back then. I don't make the rules. So we're in the beginning phase of a Nancy Drew adventure where we just sort of have to wander around and get our bearings before we can do any real detective work. I got word from Abby that we're doing a seance later, so I'm gonna have to buy a new outfit. Charlie here didn't have anything of use to say. He seems just content to stroke a table, so I'm gonna leave him be. I tried looking at this piano piano, and I guess Nancy got a real kick out of it because it wouldn't let me leave. This sure happens a lot. You have to do a lot of backing out and turning around in this game, which just involves clicking the bottom of the screen, but sometimes that's in conflict with another thing you can click on, so you spend most of your time just trying to find out the one spot where you can actually back out. I learned later that you can actually just hit B to back out, so I guess that's on me, but it's still a problem with turning around. It serves as a brief but poignant reminder that you've made a grave error in choosing to play this game. Really, it's profound. Anyway, let's go talk to Rose. She's our friend that was mentioned in the letter who bought the house, so she's gotta give us something to do. Maybe some clues that get the investigation started, or a lead on who's been acting suspicious. Can you try fitting these wood tiles in the inlay pattern on the floor? Damn it, that's not what I was after. Oh well, beggars can't be choosers. So I guess this is our first puzzle, fixing the floor. It looks like one of those geometry brain teasers where you gotta keep messing around till you just barely get them all to fit, and I'm sure that's what they were going for here, but it's kind of ruined by the fact that all the pieces glow when they're in the spot they need to be, and you can only place them in that spot. It makes it less of a puzzle and more of an exercise in patience. There, I did it. I better get something for Oh god, it's back! Why? This is my reward? Great! I did what you wanted, Rose. What have you got for me? Can you chip off the broken tiles on the hallway ceiling? Damn it, Rose, I'm a detective, not a carpenter! Okay, Rose is no help. I heard Charlie talking about some guy named Louis, some antique dealer, so let's go talk to him. We find him working diligently in the study. Louie, baby, are you alright? What happened to your eyes? Oh, you need those. Stop smiling at me, this is serious. Yeah, I know I joked about Abby looking creepy, but Louie takes the fucking cake. I am not talking to you, mister. No, sir. I'm gonna hightail my way back to my friend Abby. We're gonna have a seance. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be done in Microsoft PowerPoint because the Game Boy can't run FMVs, and it's not gonna be scary at all. Right? Whoa, what was that? No joke, that legitimately scared the daylights out of me on my first playthrough. Just the unbreaking silence and stillness of this whole cutscene broken by this thing is actually terrifying. I don't know whether to praise the developers or condemn them, though I'm leaning towards the latter. And that's the end of chapter 1.
And you know what? I think that's a good enough place to stop.
Keep playing.
Okay.
On to chapter 2 we go. In an effort to keep things moving, I'm just gonna consult a walkthrough. I'm sorry, I don't have the patience to solve complex puzzles on Nancy Drew for the Game Boy. I'm just not that kind of guy. Talk to people, get the paint scraper, play the piano, get a paper, break your bed, get a key, open the ceiling, dead baby head. Dead baby head. Use crowbar to escape. Forget what you've seen. Use iron to fix dumbwaiter. Use iron to fix dumbwaiter. Ooh, I found a little tile. I found a few of them actually. I'm making a collection. So we figured out from the paper that we got from the piano that we gotta go mess with the banister to make it spell Diego. You know, a common feature in the Victorian style mansions. It opens a hatch and we find a completely unhelpful scroll and Nancy's so peeved she passes out. And that's chapter 2. That was quick. Let's keep moving. I want to get this done. Chapter 3 opens and someone slips us a letter under our door. Leave the mansion now. Honey, you don't think I've been trying. Let's go check on Louie. I'm worried about that guy. Oh, fire! Fire! Oh, don't worry though. It's one of those fires that gets cut off at a certain height. We'll be fine. Let's put it out just to be safe though. Even though it's completely contained in this neat little box, that's not suspicious. Nobody knows what caused the fire. Yeah, it's a real head scratcher. Random box combustion is common around these parts, I hear. Couldn't have been premeditated, that's for sure. I'll leave you to think that one over. I gotta go check on Louie. Oh, he's gone. Well, I don't see why he can't take this opportunity to pilfer through his computer. I guarantee you he isn't getting much use out of it. Let's see, we have all his personal passwords, incriminating evidence against him, and oh man, he's got Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 on this thing. So he put the tiles from earlier into the fireplace, pulled this lever, and the bookcase opens. Now this is what I'm talking about. Classic mystery tropes, that's what I'm here for. Oh, and a peephole? Yeah, baby, give me that Scooby-Doo shit. I don't even care that Louie's stealing books. End of chapter 3, let's go, I'm feeling it now. I will say, as rough as the game looks, there are a few moments that capture that Nancy Drew aesthetic. Now I know that's purely because these are just screenshots from the computer game, but I at least kind of see why they made it look so similar, and the big crushed look kind of gives it its own identity. The only problem is, in a detail-oriented game like this, it's really easy to not know what the heck you're looking at. It took me a good minute to even realize that the bookcase was even open, so I don't think it works in a practical sense, but in an aesthetic sense, it's fine. Chapter 4 time. Let's open Louie's briefcase with the password from his computer and see what he's hiding. Oh, it's just a book. Yeah, he might be borrowing it. And then chapter 4. And then chapter 4? That was it? I did one thing. Huh. In Chapter 5, we find out that Charlie's actually homeless and has been living in the walls of the mansion. That doesn't ever really get addressed in full, I just thought it was worth mentioning. So, we steal a floppy disk from the poor homeless man, read an article about Christmas, then end a Chapter 5. Did they just give up? The first 2 chapters, I was going around the whole mansion, talking to everybody and doing all this stuff. Is there more I'm supposed to be doing that I'm just missing? I have no idea, and the walkthrough doesn't seem to say so. Chapter 6 literally just involves us talking to everybody and asking what gumbo foo means, then it's done. And we only have 1 chapter left. I guess I should be counting my blessings. We're nearly through this train wreck. But of course, they don't let you off that easy. This is the part of the Nancy Drew experience where you're supposed to pull together all the information you've gotten so far and solve the ultimate puzzle. You got this panel against your bed with pictures of the Chinese zodiac animals. The solution to this one is pretty simple. You just gotta push them in the order that they arrived in the Heavenly Gate story. That's one thing I always loved about Nancy Drew games. They always integrate some sort of teaching into their puzzles so that the kids actually learn something. I think that's cool. So we open up the panel to find, oh no, a combination lock. With Hansi no less. Oh, this looks painful. I take it back, I don't want to learn anymore. So apparently, all throughout the game, you're shown each Hansi and what they mean in random places. There's one on the dragon statue, one on the takeout box, etc, etc. And you get the combination from the order the Hansi are mentioned on the tapestry from before. Mind you, if you go back to check the Hansi on the tapestry, you're just gonna have to do the zodiac panel again, so they expect you to have this part memorized at this point. Heck, I'm using a walkthrough and it's still confusing and frustrating. I can only imagine how kids from 2001 felt. This is supposed to be the culmination of the whole game, and while it is pretty clever, it's honestly kinda underwhelming. It just feels like busy work. So we finally get the safe open, and what's inside? Chloe! Now, all we find is some documents about the plot that I haven't been paying attention to, and a small ruby. We go downstairs, put the ruby in the Phoenix Head banister, and it opens a panel in the floor to reveal the buried treasure. We were looking for buried treasure? I thought we were just trying to solve accidents. Oh no, someone bludgeoned Nancy. That's just great. We wake up on the ground and finally discover who the bad guy was all along. It was f***ing Louie. I knew it. You had me fooled with the no eye trick, but I know how to get you back. I'll kill you with the chandelier. Louie's dead. The end. And that was Nancy Drew on GBA. Do I really need to tell you how it was? It was horrible. I get what they were trying to do here, but a point-and-click mystery game like Nancy Drew does not belong on this system. The controls are frustrating, it's hard to figure out what you're even supposed to look at. The mystery is so downsized that it's completely uninteresting. They shouldn't have made this game. Nancy Drew is a slow-paced game that you're supposed to devote a lot of time to, so why put it on a system that you're supposed to be able to pick up and put down whenever? You'd only play this game in short bursts, which would work fine if there was a save feature. If you don't make it to the end of the chapter by the end of a car ride, you just gotta close the game and start all over next time. To be fair, the game is really short, like absurdly short. I finished it in like an hour and a half. As a point of reference, a standard Nancy Drew game would probably last anywhere from 3 to 6 hours, even with the walkthrough. But it's still incredibly confusing, to the point that I can't imagine any kid would have had the patience to figure out most of these puzzles when they knew all their progress was just gonna be tossed out the window if they didn't talk to the right people in time. It really is a poor excuse of a Nancy Drew game, and a Game Boy Advance game for that matter. All that being said though, I do see why they made it. Nancy Drew on the go seems like it would work on paper, it's just not handled very well here. But I can definitely see the effort put into trying to make this work. I respect the hustle, even if it is a bit misguided. Her Interactive, from what I can see, does seem to really care about this series, so I would guess their motivation to make this port was just to give fans a way to play their favorite game on the go. I imagine at least a few kids saw this game back in the day at the book fair and just begged their parents for it, and even if they didn't like it, which why would they probably still enjoyed the novelty of having it. I was probably too hard on this game. At the end of the day, while it is undeniably horrible, it is still trying its best. And I will say, I did have a lot of fun just goofing around on it and seeing what weird things it would throw me next. So I guess it taught me something. It taught me to appreciate what I have, even if it's not necessarily the best thing, at least it's my thing. I guess I was just too focused on how this game would stack up to the computer games. When you compare it to them, it's horrible, but whenever you take it for just what it is, warts and all, it actually isn't too bad. So I guess I owe you an apology, Shane. This actually turned out to be a pretty good gift after all. Thank you for reminding me the true spirit of the season. I'm gonna go lay down.